The Matrix of Leadership is a fictional artifact in the Transformers toy and media franchise created by Hasbro. In most incarnations, it is a legendary talisman that is passed down to new leaders of the Autobots, the franchise's main protagonists. The Matrix has been one of the Transformers franchise's most prominent elements, appearing in almost every Transformers comic and television series, as well as the live-action film series. Comics: Marvel Comics, the first appearance of the Creation Matrix, later also known as the Autobot Matrix of Leadership, was in Marvel's Transformers comics, where the Matrix's first appearance predated its cartoon appearance by over a year. The Creation Matrix was first described as a computer program in Optimus Prime's mind, required to bestow life on newly created Transformers, considered the inspiration for the All-Spark Cube in the 2007 Transformers live-action film. Prime was captured by the Decepticon leader, Shockwave, his head separated from his body, and the Matrix program used to bring the Constructicons to life. Before Shockwave could animate Jetfire, however, Prime transferred the Creation Matrix to the mind of Buster Witwicky, who used it to take control of Jetfire and rescue Prime. During the UK-only story Crisis of Command, Prowl advocated exploiting the Creation Matrix to animate dedicated war machines. Optimus Prime was opposed to this ethically questionable move, and decisively ruled against it after a period of fierce debate amongst the Autobots. The Decepticons were able to tap the energy of the Matrix to create the Stunticons and Combaticons when Prime used it to give life to the Aerialbots and Protectobots, but Prime's subsequent destruction left all assuming that the Matrix had been destroyed. However, this was not so. When Prime was resurrected as a Power Master, he revealed the truth: the Matrix was actually a physical object, stored within his chest cavity, which the Autobots had unwittingly lost when Prime's body had been blasted into space. Shockwave had merely tapped residual energy from his head. Thus began a Matrix quest to recover the talisman, but the Autobots had no idea what was waiting for them. The Creation Matrix had retained an imprint of each of its former holders, giving it a rudimentary sentience that had, during its exile in space, come to question the nature of evil. Recovered by the Decepticon, Thunderwing, who also had a Matrix affinity, the Matrix itself became tainted with evil and took control of Thunderwing, attacking the Autobots, and forcing them to jettison it into the depths of space once more. The true nature of the Creation Matrix then became apparent as the threat of Unicron bore down upon Cybertron. The Matrix was a fragment of Primus, the Transformers' deity, responsible for the creation of their race. Encoding a portion of his life force as a genetic matrix, set in light patterns within a crystal, Primus had given his children a means of creating new life, as he had created them. Amidst the Unicron crisis, Thunderwing returned, but was destroyed by Unicron, allowing Optimus Prime to purify the Matrix and destroy Unicron himself. Subsequently, Megatron stole the Matrix from Prime in order to animate a new legion of troops for himself, only to have Starscream steal it in turn, and use it to merge himself with the Decepticons' battleship, the War World. Rather than fall prey to evil, however, the Matrix's overwhelming goodness began to affect Starscream, and he relinquished the power rather than have his personality altered. Prime was then able to use this goodness to purify the Swarm, a dark byproduct of Transformer reproduction. Devil's Due Publishing. In the third volume of the Devil's Due comics, the android Serpentor downloaded information on the history of Cybertron from Soundwave. Mentioned among that information was the Quintessence, Alpha Trion, Megatron and Soundwave, the planet of junk, a warrior named Optimus Primal and the Autobot Matrix of Leadership. Serpentor decides to take the Matrix for himself in order to gain something close to a spark or a soul. Animated Series, Generation 1. The Matrix of Leadership first appeared in the animated Transformers series in the Transformers, the movie, when a dying Optimus Prime passed it to Ultra Magnus. Prime was the seventh holder of the Matrix. After the death of the sixth holder, Alpha Trion briefly kept the Matrix safe before bestowing it upon Optimus. Before passing away, Prime spoke of a prophecy: one day, the Chosen One would rise from the ranks of the Autobots and use the power of the Matrix to light the Transformers' darkest hour. That darkest hour soon came upon Cybertron in the form of the World Eater, Unicron, who knew that the Matrix's power was the one thing that could destroy him. Recreating Decepticon leader Megatron as Galvatron, he dispatched him to destroy Ultra Magnus and the Matrix, but when Galvatron obtained the talisman, he tried and failed to use its power against Unicron. Ultimately, the chosen one who could open the Matrix proved to be the youthful Hot Rod, who reclaimed the Matrix and was reformatted by its power into Rodimus Prime, before opening it within Unicron and releasing its power, which tore Unicron apart from within. As the animated series progressed, more was divulged about the nature of the Matrix that had not been explained in the movie. When injured in battle, Rodimus' consciousness briefly entered the Matrix itself, and he discovered that it was more than a mere source of energy. It, in fact, contained the amassed wisdom of deceased Autobot leaders throughout history. Venturing into the Matrix a second time, Rodimus was shown the history of Cybertron by the ancient Autobots whose consciousnesses existed within the Matrix, revealing to him the Quintessence role in the creation of the Transformers. When he was resurrected, Optimus Prime later did the same thing when faced with the hate plague, and came to a drastic conclusion: to cure the madness of the plague, he expelled all of the wisdom from within the Matrix, saving the universe, but emptying the Matrix and leaving only a shell. The Matrix's story subsequently branched off in two directions following this, as America and Japan took the story in their own unique directions. In the US finale, The Rebirth, Optimus Prime used the shell of the Matrix as a substitute key to access Vector Sigma. Conversely, in Japan, where the Matrix is treated simply as a reservoir of pure energy, the shell was left hidden on Earth to slowly recharge its depleted energy. However, the emptying of the Matrix had disestablished Vector Sigma, leading the Autobots to search for its location before Optimus Prime sacrificed himself to restore the computer's balance. The ghost of Alpha Trion re-energized the Matrix, but Optimus Prime merged with Vector Sigma to stabilize it, and Rodimus Prime was again left in charge of the Autobots. No origin was ever offered for the Matrix of leadership in the animated continuity, but it was vaguely hinted that it was in some way connected to the origins of Unicron, perhaps to explain why it was his antithesis. Unicron was created by the insane genius, Primacron, but turned on him. After Unicron's attack against his master, Primacron's assistant was shown to flee, and from his damaged robotic body, an object that appeared to be the Matrix emerged. If this truly was intended to be the Matrix, how the Transformers obtained it was never revealed. Beast Era. In the 1990s animated series, Beast Wars and Beast Machines, the nature of the Matrix was explored and evolved. These series used the Matrix as a term that referred not merely to the physical object, but to an actual other-dimensional realm. The Transformer afterlife, also called the Matrix, the well of all sparks that are, have been, or ever shall be. From the Matrix springs all Transformer life, and when a Transformer dies, their spark returns to the Matrix, sharing its life experience with the collective, creating a huge store of accumulated wisdom and knowledge. Understanding this, it can be retroactively assumed that the physical Matrix object wielded by Autobot leaders in the cartoon continuity is not simply a storehouse of knowledge itself, but rather, a gateway to this afterlife realm. Similarly, this also explains its ability to bestow life as seen in the comic book continuity by transferring a spark from the Matrix through its connection to the realm. The Matrix was also used as a nickname in the Beast Wars series for the facility which produced maximal protoforms. The Matrix also appeared when Optimus Primal merged his spark with that of the original Optimus Prime, but this Matrix was incorrectly shown to be Prime's actual spark. The Matrix was instead implied by Rhinox to be a part of Prime's actual spark. Though a conclusion to this error is considered that while in stasis lock, Prime's extensive life energy is connected to the Matrix. A similar effect which happened to Rodimus Prime of the G1 series, where after he was severely damaged had gone into stasis, and though alive, appeared to exhibit no traces of life in his body since his spark was connected to the Matrix. However, BotCon exclusive comic Primeval Dawn, Part 1 states that the thing held by Optimus Primal is just a Matrix-shaped spark chamber. The real Matrix is actually concealed in a compartment beneath the spark chamber. Robots in Disguise, In Transformers, Robots in Disguise, the Autobots are the main race on Cybertron, and fought in a series of Cybertronian civil wars against their enemies, the Predacons. The Allspark, Vector Sigma, chooses which Autobot is to be granted the Matrix and thus the position of Commander-in-Chief. The Autobots were already on Earth when the Predacons arrived, having taken the form of Earth vehicles to work as camouflage and established a global space bridge network and a central base monitoring the entire planet. In the original Car Robot series, there is not one singular Matrix, but multiple ones, each held by high-ranking Autobot commanders. Magnus already possesses a Matrix, and simply seeks to steal the power of fire convoys to increase his own, with the overspill of energy resulting in the supercharging of the Autobot brothers. Unicron Trilogy, the Optimus Prime of the alternate universe of Transformers, Armada also possesses a Matrix. Prime is indeed a title given to leaders and Matrix bearers in the Unicron Trilogy, as evidenced by both Vector Prime and Optimus Prime, but no other primes are ever named. In Galaxy Force, Override, Scourge, Evac, and Metroplex all hold the title of convoy as leaders of their respective planets, but this scheme does not carry over into the Western translation, and so the Prime appellation does not apply. Likewise, in Super Link, the Japanese version of Energon, Rodimus is known as Rodimus Convoy, harkening back to the name of his G1 predecessor. But again, this does not follow through in Hasbro's materials. Interestingly, Vector Prime is not known as Vector Convoy in Japan, but Vector Prime, while Optimus maintains the traditional convoy title as Galaxy Convoy. Transformers Animated. In Transformers Animated, the Allspark plays a similar role to its 2007 film counterpart. It is the source of all Transformers life. Megatron states he shall use its power as an ultimate weapon to crush the Autobots. In order to end the Great War, the Autobots cast the Allspark into a space bridge network gate to a random destination somewhere in the galaxy, thereby preventing the Decepticons from getting it. This ends the war, and finally allows the Autobots to drive the Decepticons off of Cybertron and into exile. Unlike the live-action film, it is in the shape of a round sphere, rather than a square cube. By the series finale, when the Lugnut Supremes are reprogrammed by Starscream to activate their self-destruct protocols, Prowl and Chaz used processor over matter to reassemble the Allspark, hoping to use its power to contain the explosion. However, they would only be able to make it halfway, as Prowl decides to use his own spark to complete it, sacrificing himself and dying in the process. The completed Allspark is later seen around Optimus' neck, in a container resembling that of the Matrix of Leadership. In addition, Starscream mentions the Well of Allsparks in one episode, implying that the afterlife from Beast machines still exists in this continuity. Transformers, Prime. The Matrix appears a number of times in Transformers, Prime. In the first season finale, it is mentioned that Optimus carries the Matrix within himself, and it carries the wisdom of the 13 Primes who preceded him. Optimus unleashed the power of the Matrix into Unicron's spark after it was discovered that the Chaos Bringer was the planet Earth. However, in doing so, not only did he lose the collective wisdom of the Primes, but lost his own memories as a Prime, thus causing Optimus to believe he was still Orion Pax, his previous identity. However, before departing to Earth's core, Optimus entrusted the key to Vector Sigma to Jack Darby, a means to restore his memories as well as the Matrix, as Vector Sigma contained not only the memories of Optimus, but those of any and all holders of the Matrix, which in this continuity appears to be only the original 13 Primes and Optimus himself. The key was then used to recharge the Matrix as well as restoring Optimus' memories during the 3-part Season 2 premiere. In the premiere episodes of the 3rd season, when Optimus is dying after the destruction of the Autobot base, he states to Smokescreen that the Matrix chose him. When Optimus died briefly, his chest opened and revealed the Matrix of Leadership to Smokescreen, but instead of taking it, Smokescreen revived Optimus with the Forge of Solus Prime, making him a new more powerful body. The Matrix remained with Optimus until the events of the movie Predacons Rising, when, in a desperate bid to save the Allspark from Unicron, he used the Matrix as its new container. As a result, Optimus and the Matrix became one with the All-Spark, and both were sacrificed in the core of Cybertron in order to create the chance for new life to be born from the well of All-Sparks. Set within the same universe as Transformers, Prime, its younger sister series Transformers, Rescue Bots, would occasionally featured Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. In the episode Odd Bottom Out, Optimus located the liquefier, an Iacon relic that was threatening Griffin Rock, and used the Matrix to shut it down. Books. In Transformers, Exodus, the Matrix is mentioned to have been the jewel in the hilt of Prima's Star Saber. Optimus Prime would later receive the Matrix from the core of Cybertron during the Great War. When the Autobots traveled into space, the Matrix served to guide the Autobots on their journey to find the All-Spark as recorded in Transformers, Exiles, as well as serving to witness to other Transformers of Optimus' status as a Prime. In Transformers, Retribution, the Quintessence used a copy of the Matrix to trick Optimus into traveling to the planet Aquatron and launching their invasion of Cybertron. However, this would later backfire on them, as Megatron seized this Matrix and control of their Sharkticon army before losing it to General Tyrannicon, who perished shortly thereafter. Video games. In Transformers, War for Cybertron, when he reaches the core of Cybertron, Optimus Prime is given a portion of the core spark in the form of the Matrix of Leadership. He is told that as long as the Matrix survives, so will the core of Cybertron. In this continuity, the purpose of the Matrix of Leadership is to restart the computer core of Cybertron after it completes a purge and healing process to rid itself of dark energon, a process which requires it to shut down for millions of years. This event triggers the exodus of Transformers to leave Cybertron, presumably as no energon is being produced by the deactivated planet. In effect, the Transformers face a planet-wide famine and will starve to death if they stay. This makes Optimus Prime the first Prime of Cybertron to ever possess the Matrix of Leadership. It is not yet a traditional badge of office for the Prime. The Prime immediately before Optimus, Zeta Prime, never carried the Matrix of Leadership as it had not yet existed, and the planet is populated by Transformers who existed before the Matrix of Leadership. Live-action film series. The Matrix of Leadership also appears in the Transformers film sequel Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen. It is introduced into the film and the Fallen uses it to activate the Sun Harvester hidden in Cairo, Egypt. The original Primes had hidden it there, sacrificing their own lives to protect humanity from the power of the Harvester. The appearance of the Matrix is similar to that of the original G1 appearance, but the handlebar is more triangular and is striped. A small energy ball is encased by a netted metal cage in the middle. Sam Witwicky, joined by Michaela Baines, Leo Spiz, Seymour Simmons, Skids, Mudflap, and Bumblebee, search through a temple for the Matrix and find it surrounded by the bodies of the original Primes. When he holds it in his hands, it turns to sound and he later discovers it has to be earned and not given. It is earned by Sam's sacrifice for Prime, and is used to revive Optimus Prime after the attacks of Megatron and his minions. It is then stolen by the Fallen and used to power the Sun Harvester, but is apparently recovered after the Fallen's death and the destruction of the Harvester. In Transformers, Dark of the Moon, Optimus Prime uses the Matrix to revive Sentinel Prime. He then offers it to Sentinel, but he refuses. It is unknown if Optimus still has the Matrix, for it was never seen in Age of Extinction. Primes and Matrix holders. The title of Prime is usually given to the leader of the Autobots and bearer of the Matrix of Leadership, though there are a few exceptions. The most notable of these was in Transformers Animated, where Prime was not a title, but a commanding rank amongst the Autobots, as indicated by Optimus to Sentinel, and second only to that of Magnus. In Japanese translations of Western Transformers fiction, as well as original Japanese fiction such as Beast Wars 2, the equivalent of the Prime rank is Convoy. For example, Rodimus Prime would translate as Rodimus Convoy in Japanese, while Leo Convoy would translate as Leo Prime in English. In the fictional narrative of the Transformers universe, the Prime lineage began with the 13 original Transformers created when the universe began by Primus to aid him in his battle against Unicron. They went on to become the foundation of life on Cybertron. The story concept of the original 13, as well as 3 of their members, were created by comic book writer Simon Furman. The evidence for Prime being a rank in the original comic and cartoon is weaker than elsewhere, but the case can still be made. The comic would introduce the creation matrix, and portray Prime as a religious title, while the cartoon's matrix of leadership was held by Prime as a military title. Though many matrix bearers are seen, and all are by definition Autobot leaders, only 4 are ever named on screen: Alpha Trion, Optimus Prime, Ultra Magnus, and Rodimus Prime. Without knowing any other names, it is hard to make a concrete case here for Prime being a title given only to matrix bearers. 2 decades later, the Allspark Almanac revealed the names of all the Primes seen in this continuity: Priman, Prima, Prime Nova, Guardian Prime, Zeta Prime, Sentinel Prime, Alpha Trion, Optimus Prime, Ultra Magnus, and Rodimus Prime. In the live-action film, the Dynasty of Primes are the first wielders of the Matrix and used it to power a sun harvester. After learning that Earth contained intelligent life, they refused to use it and the Fallen fought them over it. He was too powerful for them, so they stole it and sacrificed themselves to hide it. Sam Witwicky found it, but it crumbled to dust in his hands. However, in a vision, the Dynasty gave it to him to wield as he proved worthy of it, telling him that the Matrix is something that must be earned, not found. He used it to revive Optimus, but the Fallen took it before it completely healed Optimus. Used to power the Sun Harvester, it survived and was given back to Optimus after he destroyed the Harvester. In the aligned continuity, the Prime rank is similar to its portrayal in the original series. Prime is the name given to the leader of the Autobots and holder of the Matrix of Leadership, which is passed down to a successor at the end of the current Prime's reign. Characters shown to be part of the Prime lineage in this continuity include Optimus Prime and Sentinel Zeta Prime. Other Matrix-related objects: although the creation matrix is the one single force forged from Primus with the ultimate power to bestow life and destroy Unicron, there have been other lesser matrices of leaderships forged. These matrices were forged from the Vector Sigma and bestowed to a select few, including Leo Convoy, Big Convoy and Fire Convoy. Lesser matrices: in Japanese continuity, Optimus Primal is depicted as bearing one of these matrices, which is in conflict with the American series, in which he did not possess one. These matrices mimic the abilities of the original creation matrix. In the Transformers, Zone OVA and Battle Stars, Return of Convoy, the planetary Zodiac, also known as Zone Energy, replaces the original Autobot matrix of leadership as a means of repairing, reformatting, and/or reviving Transformers. According to the extended biography given in the Transformers Collectors Club magazine for 10th anniversary Optimus Primal, he carries the matrix of purification, which can be used to cure the sick, and be used to ease the strain of Unicron's corruption from Cybertronians. In Beast Wars 2nd, Leo Convoy used his matrix to create Leo Jr. These lesser matrices can also power up their hosts. In order to defeat the Titanic Dystron known as Majin Zarak, Leo Convoy tapped into the power of his matrix and was powered up to Flash Leo Convoy, while Optimus Primal tapped into the power of his matrix and became Burning Convoy. Together their matrices formed the powerful Matrix Buster attack, which defeated Majin Zarak. Leo Convoy later combined the power of his matrix with that of Big Convoy's matrix to defeat Unicron. In Transformers, Car Robots, also known as Transformers, Robots in Disguise in Western countries, God Fire Convoy was powered by Fire Convoy's personal matrix, which also augmented itself with the God Sword forged by Brave Maximus, also known as Fortress Maximus, and used it to defeat Devil Gigatron. Not all lesser matrices are good. Like Primus, Unicron also forged some matrices which were used to manipulate certain Transformers to his dark designs. Unicron was able to control the Predacon known as Galvatron through the Galvamatrix, as well as the Predacon Overlord Shakurakt, through the Matrix of Conquest, which housed Unicron's dark essence itself. Reconfiguration Matrix: during the Transformers Generation 2 toy line, Optimus Prime received multiple toy forms in a relatively short period of time, and to explain these numerous bodies, The tech spec of his GoBot incarnation credited an internal reconfiguration matrix with the change. The reconfiguration matrix has subsequently been credited with the reformatting of Ironhide into his Transformers Timelines body represented by the toy available exclusively at BotCon 2005, and with the rebirth of Ultra Magnus and the creation of his new body represented by the 2006 eHobby exclusive Laser Ultra Magnus toy. Where exactly this internal reconfiguration matrix comes from is still a mystery, but a few long-time Transformers fans have speculated that it was somehow derived from the planetary zodiac in the Transformers, Zone and Battlestars storylines. Allspark. Matrix of Conquest. The 1998-2000 BotCon story would introduce Decepticon Matrix of Conquest, a container created by Shokarik to hold the life force of Unicron. Shokarik, discovering the Chaos Bringer's presence on prehistoric Earth, in the time of the Beast Wars, Hunter created a container similar to the Matrix of Leadership to hold Unicron's life force so he could carry it around to grant him power. The name is a direct mockery of the Matrix of Leadership, since that object was responsible for Unicron's destruction. It granted Shokarik many of Unicron's powers, including reality manipulation, but was erased from history when the Covenant of Primus united their sparks to sever Shokarik's hold on the past version of Unicron's life force, allowing it to slip back into the time stream and thus erase Shokarik. The Matrix of Conquest reappears in Beast Wars, The Ascending, except that Shokarik is being used to revive Unicron in a similar fashion to Galvatron in Beast Wars Neo, and is unaware that he is intended to be Unicron's new host. After harvesting large amounts of Angomoi energy, Shokarik ends up confronting several Maximals and Predacons using the Matrix's power, including Big Convoy, before being transported outside of time, where he meets the similarly displaced Predacon leader Magmatron. Upon learning of Unicron's intentions for him by viewing the future that will result, Shokarik refuses to be a party to it, and rips the Matrix of Conquest from his body, killing himself and restoring Magmatron to the proper flow of time. Whether or not the Matrix of Conquest was destroyed by this act or ended up trapped in the dimension outside time is unknown. Dead Matrix, exclusive to the Transformers Universe storyline. The Dead Matrix was a version of the Matrix of Leadership that had been corrupted by Unicron after being stolen from One Dimension's version of Optimus Prime. Defeated by Megazarak, this Optimus was tortured by Unicron and driven insane, eventually recreated as Nemesis Prime. Accompanied by Ramjet, Nemesis Prime infiltrated the Spark Chamber of Primus on Cybertron, the champion of Unicron planning to drain Primus' spark with the Dead Matrix and use it to resurrect Unicron. While their efforts were not completed due to the efforts of Vector Prime, Sentinel Maximus, Alpha Trion, and the timely arrival of Omega Prime, the Dead Matrix still managed to absorb some of Primus' energy. Recovered by Soundwave, the Dead Matrix was flung into the black hole created by Unicron's destruction, resulting in Unicron being reborn. Dark Spark. The 2014 video game Transformers, Rise of the Dark Spark introduces the Dark Spark, a dark relic that was said to be the equal but opposite force to the Matrix of Leadership. Whilst the Matrix granted wisdom, its antithesis allowed its user to bend the fabric of the universe and its inhabitants to its will. It also apparently has the ability to travel between universes. The Dark Spark's creation was debated by ancient Transformers such as the Patterners and the Disciples of the 13. One group claimed that it was the spark of Unicron himself while the other saw it as the ejected corruption from the well of all sparks. After witnessing its dark power, the Crystal Guardians from Crystal City decided that this artifact needed to remain hidden forever and thus placed it within an underground vault protected by some of their warriors. In the aftermath, the Dark Spark was considered a myth. In the Great War, Megatron came to believe in its existence and dispatched Shockwave, Soundwave and Starscream to find it. This led these Decepticons into the underground levels of Cybertron where they fought Insecticons and the Guardians and before arriving at the vault containing the relic. After they disabled the security system, they returned to the vault to find that Sideswipe and Ironhide had been following them. The two Autobots trapped the Decepticons in the vault and fought their way through a horde of Insecticons to bring Optimus Prime the relic at an old train station. Despite Starscream's attempt to stop them, they departed for Icon on a train only for Soundwave to detonate a bomb he had hidden on the track. Optimus tried to fool the Decepticons into thinking that he had the Dark Spark, but Sharpshot saw through the ruse and deduced Ironhide was carrying it. After Sharpshot defeated Ironhide, Shockwave seized the relic and proceeded to Cannes with it, receiving backup in the form of the Combaticons. At the gates of Cannes, Shockwave managed to enter with the Dark Spark by having Bruticus take Cliffhumper prisoner. Megatron inserted the Dark Spark into his chest, mirroring the way Optimus held the Matrix. Shockwave designed an experiment, with Cliffhumper as one of the test subjects, with the Dark Spark that would remove an Autobot's will to fight. Cliffhumper escaped with the help of Optimus and Jazz before this could bear fruit, and Optimus Prime came to the lab where Shockwave and Megatron were. Megatron displayed here that the Dark Spark had some connection to Dark Energon and was able to use it to resurrect dead Autobots. Despite Megatron using Autobot Taurochons as an army against Prime, Optimus bested Megatron in combat. Enraged, Megatron swore to rip the Matrix from Prime, who responded by unleashing its power on the Decepticon leader. Megatron tried to counter with the Dark Spark only to bested and knocked unconscious. The Dark Spark was blasted into another universe. In the Transformers, Age of Extinction universe, the Dark Spark was glimpsed by Lockdown, who made it his prize. He was able to retrieve from the impact site despite resistance from Optimus Prime and placed it in his chest. Prime explained to Drift and Bumblebee exactly what the Dark Spark was, explaining he knew of it through the Matrix. Lockdown schemed to use the Dark Spark's abilities to return to the height of the war on Cybertron and bring the war into the present day. Through this he would be extremely well paid by Megatron once again, and he planned to continually interfere with the war temporarily so he could always have a steady flow of income. He was eventually confronted by Prime, who bested him in combat, allowing Drift to remove the Dark Spark from the bounty hunter's chest. Prime used the Matrix to send the Dark Spark through time and space. Arriving in the Transformers, Generation 1 universe, the Dark Spark appeared as a purple comet and was witnessed by Optimus Prime, who had hoped the day would never come when he would have to face it. Matrix Toys, Leo Convoy. Although his Matrix was not detachable, Leo Prime was the first Transformer toy to come with a Matrix, though technically it is an Energon Matrix. The Matrix was part of the chest sculpt, located inside a left chest panel. A figure was released in international markets by Hasbro in 2008 under the name Leo Prime. Big Convoy, the first Transformer to come with a Matrix that was detachable. Its handle design allowed Big Convoy to hold the Matrix, although it meant altering the handle from its more orthodox shape. Transformers, robots in disguise. Optimus Prime, like Leo Convoy, the red incarnation of Optimus Prime's Matrix was a permanent fixture inside a chest panel. Looking little like the standard Matrix design, this feature was treated simply as a power cable port in the animated series. Matrix Glow Ultra Magnus, the Matrix Glow Recoller of G1 Ultra Magnus, mostly cast in translucent yellow, was released in 2001 as an homage to the scene from the animated movie when the Matrix passes to Ultra Magnus and for a brief moment he is bathed in its yellow light. This occurs shortly before Optimus Prime's death. The toy does not actually include a Matrix. Convoy Optimus Prime, made of solid die-cast metal, this Matrix was designed to fit inside the chest cavity seats of the original Optimus Prime Convoy toy. It also came with a chain so that collectors could wear the Matrix as a neck piece. Although this Matrix was sculpted to look just like the original Matrix, the design of Optimus Prime's fists meant that he was unable to hold it. Transformers, Armada Optimus Prime, the leader-class Optimus Prime figure from this toy line featured a non-removable Matrix sculpted inside his chest. Notably, the smaller, Supercon-size class version of the figure did not. 20th Anniversary Optimus Prime Masterpiece Convoy, the Matrix included with this figure is both removable, and can be held by Optimus Prime, due to his individually articulated fingers. This is the first Matrix that can also actually open, and can be made to glow in its traditional blue color via an LED inside Optimus Prime's chest cavity. The Matrix was also included in the Japanese-only Masterpiece Ultra Magnus redeco of the toy, as well as other redecos of Convoy. Like the Matrix of Cybertron Prime, this too can fit in the chest of the original Optimus Prime. Transformers, Cybertron Optimus Prime. The Transformers, Cybertron incarnation of the character comes with a matrix which can be stored inside the chest and removed, and can be held by the figure, somewhat awkwardly. Interestingly, the Matrix toy itself is perfectly sized to fit inside the cab of the original Optimus Prime toy, and many fans have taken to storing it there. Prime's Planet Key also has a Matrix theme to its sculpt, although the gold accents are only available in the Japanese version of this toy. THS-01 Galaxy Convoy, a beautifully sculpted Japanese exclusive miniature of Galaxy Force Galaxy Convoy. The figure features an opening chest, as with the larger counterpart. The tiny matrix which is revealed can be removed, although an electrical screwdriver or fine tweezers may be necessary. Unlike the Generation 1 version, this matrix has a yellow interior. THS-02 Convoy, essentially a small 4-inch tall version of Masterpiece Convoy, he too came with a removable matrix, which cannot be opened. As with the THS line, he comes with a variety of hands for different functions. 2 hands have slots in them to slip the handles of the matrix into, and it will allow him to hold it. It has weight and is made of die-cast metal. Revoltech Convoy, able to be held awkwardly but artfully in Convoy's left hand, this matrix does not fit into his chest. Also, adhering to the comic look roots, the matrix has a small pale dot in the blue center, giving it the feel of a glow and gloss. Galvatron, the Japanese exclusive reissue of the Galvatron toy, recolored to match his cartoon appearance, includes a die-cast matrix accessory. Also included was a shorter version of the chain from the New Year Special Convoy version, this time to be worn by Galvatron, not the owner. Additionally, another version of the toy exclusive to the eHobby website features the same accessory, painted in a vacuum metallized green in reference to the comic book incarnation of the Matrix. Because of the thick gold and green coatings, Galvatron's version of the Matrix will not fit in an Optimus or Ultra Magnus chest cavity without paint wear between the Matrix's prongs or light filing down of the divider between Prime's truck cab seats. Matrix of Leadership Replica, sculpted by Robert Lee. This item was limited to 1,000 pieces and distributed by Diamond Select Toys in conjunction with Art Asylum. It came with a golden display stand with the Autobot symbol on the front and a replica of the key to Vector Sigma. Using 3 AA batteries and the replica key to Vector Sigma accessory, with the Matrix placed on it, it can change colors from blue to purple, to green, to red, and back again. Transformers, Hunt for the Decepticons Battle Blades Optimus Prime, a Voyager-class figure of Optimus Prime from the 2009 film Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen. His chest holds a removable matrix of leadership. Transformers, Reveal the Shield G2 Laser Optimus Prime. On this deluxe-class figure, an imprint of the Matrix of Leadership appears behind his chest. References: http badflipblog.blogspot.co/5/prima of 13 primes HTML, AB Marvel Comics, Transformers Issue No. 10, page 2, Panel 3, Marvel Comics, Transformers Issue No. 5-6, Marvel Comics, Transformers Issue No. 10, Marvel Comics, Transformers Issue No. 6, page 10-11, Marvel Comics, Transformers Issue No. 11, page 20, Panel 1, Marvel Comics, Transformers Issue No. 11, page 13-14, Transformers, the Movie. Indie Week December 17, 2006. Retrieved October 14, 2013 TFW2005.com, Voyager-class Battle Blades Optimus Prime High-Resolution Gallery, external links, Matrix of Leadership at tfwiki.net.